welcome to SportsZone. I'm your host, Mackenzie Freeman, joined by Matthew Wagner and John Phillips, as we highlight a team that's been somewhat underappreciated, talking about the women's golf team.
Yes, I'm going to cut you off, but listen, we're going to talk about something that's very important. I don't think the women's golf team gets enough recognition for being one of the best and most successful programs in the UNT, school. They don't get nearly enough recognition. They have one of the best Conference USA tournament wins, have one of the most successful wins as a team, and they still do not get the recognition they deserve. I think they should definitely get the more recognition above basketball and definitely above football right now, because football has not been doing very good. And we're about to explain that, Mackenzie, I'll let you get to the first question.
So that was, Matt's talking about the past. We're going to enter into this season where the Mean Green placed second in their own backyard, just a stone's throw away from campus. How do y'all feel about UNT's performance so far?
No, they've been really good. I think they could have easily beat Houston in that tournament. Obviously, some players didn't have a good game. But dude, I love Demille Rashad's game. Like, I watched that. Dude, she set the record with all time with career 8 eagles. She can easily get 12 or 13 by the end of her career. I'm excited to see where she goes from there.
Yeah, I think any tournament where you break your own 18-hole record twice is a good one. We broke it with 10 under par on the first day, and then 18 under par on the last day. I think it was an incredible tournament. We had a career best from Shreya Powell. It was just an incredible all-around tournament.
Yeah, just looking at that tournament, when you have 3 girls that place inside the top 10, there's got to be someone above that, such as the coach, who is motivating these girls. Michael Akers, probably one of the best coaches here at UNT in the current sports that are going on. How important is he to this UNT program?
I think he's vital, and John, you can back me up on that. I think he's so vital to this team because he came from Texas State. He's won multiple tournaments. He's won 3 back-to-back CUSA championships. I think that is just so vital to this organization, this program.
Yeah, he's taken us from a team outside the 200s in the rankings to a team that's top 50. He's had an incredible turnaround in such a short time. He's an incredible coach.
Speaking of incredible coaches, UNT has 2 great head coaches here. The UNT women's soccer coach, Josh Hedlund, as well as Michael Akers. Guys, who do y'all think is doing the best in their respective sports? Matthew, I'll start with you.
Yeah, they're both elite coaches. They both raised their programs to absolutely huge levels. But, dude, give me Hedlund because he's never had a losing season, and he's been here since '95. That dude is tenured. So, I cannot wait to see, how long he stays. I guarantee he'll stay here long after we're gone.
Yeah. Give me Akers, to be honest. I know Hedlund's done it longer. He's had more success. But Akers, in such a short time, has already made us such a good program. If he's given the time Hedlund's been given so far, it's scary to think about what he could do with this program.
Oh, yeah. You win back-to-back CUSA championships. You get us to our second NCAA regional tournament performance that we've ever had in program history. You're a pretty elite coach. But he has been facing a little bit of some haters talking about, Aubrey Tan is not here. She was historic for the Mean Green. Guys, who do we think is going to step in and fill that Aubrey Tan spot?
Yeah, I would go back to Emily Rashad. I think Emily Rashad, she was just been that leader that they've been looked for. And Akers said himself, I found an interview where he talked about her being that new leader for this group, and then having other girls step up. I think it can be more than one person. Obviously, losing Tan, that's tough, but that gives opportunity for other girls to step up and take that role.
Yeah, the name I want to highlight is Ellie Ross. She was 4th scoring average last year for UNT in history. I think she's a really good golfer, and I think as a senior, she's going to take that step up and be the main leader of that group of girls that you said could step up and be that leader.
For sure.
I'm also going to put my 2 cents in here just because we're all hinting at different players. I'm going to go with Shreya Powell. She's a senior on this team. She tied for 5th in the Sam Golden Invitational, which is where they played this last week. And just looking at how she did last year, playing in 10 tournaments with an average stroke of 74.31, it's just great for a college athlete, especially for golf. And speaking of the tournament, we went up against teams like Houston, UNT, UTSA, Missouri. How does it feel for the UNT golf team, and how encouraging is it to see that you're up in this program going against teams like that?
It raises that profile for this school because to be mentioned that same breath is absolutely insane because no one looks at our golf team and goes great, like I said, they deserve more recognition. So the fact that we're being referenced I think it's great.
Yeah, I mean, it's testament to what Coach Akers has done with the program. We're up there with those Power Fives, with those big players. We are a team that you should be scared of. I mean, he's done that, and it's really nice to see for the golf program.
Yeah, I like how Coach Akers recruits. He's got girls from Germany, Thailand, as far as India. One of our players is even from New Caledonia. What does it mean to have such a diverse squad?
It shows the recruiting process, right? How great it is, and I think that's great for this team going forward.
Yeah, speaking of teams who started off their season going good, the UNT Mean Green have finally got a win. Stay right with us.
All right, look up here. 1, 2, 3.
Mom, Dad, I got it. You're right, Mom. I have.
Good evening and welcome back to SportsZone. I'm here with Austin Fernandez and Gabby Pippins as we discuss the UNT football team. Guys, the Mean Green finally got their first win of the season when they went down to Ruston, Louisiana, beating Louisiana Tech. Gabby, thoughts on the game?
Oh, I mean, I thought it was a great game. You know, I got a little worried there when they let them, when I got a little worried there when I saw La Tech come back in the fourth quarter. But it ended up being okay. You know, they did tie at 37, which did show our poor defense a little bit there. But other than that, I think if UNT just works on that, we'll be okay.
Austin, what about you? Your thoughts on the game?
Yeah, I guess besides the defense, you know, offensively, it was a really excellent football game. I mean, Chandler Rogers, it was all right, you know. Passing percentage wasn't incredible, but he still threw for 313, 2 tutties, no interceptions. That's super important. And we had running back rush for almost 150, and we had a receiver go over 100. So I really like that, to be honest.
Austin, I like that you bring up Chandler Rogers. We've seen somewhat of a quarterback battle here at UNT between Stone Earl and Chandler Rogers. Guys, do you think that Chandler Rogers has finally proven himself to get that QB1 spot?
In my opinion.
Oh, okay. Absolutely. You know, I feel like if we have to choose between two starting quarterbacks, between Rogers and Earl, it's definitely going to be Rogers all the way. I mean, just looking at how he's played these past 3 weeks, how he was able to pick up Earl's slack, I guess I would say, in the FIU game, I think that was great. And just comparing a couple of their stats here, he's got more yards and less interceptions than Earl, which is exactly what you want in a quarterback. And he's got a QB rating right now of 81.4, which is 19th in college football. So I'm definitely going with him, and I think Rogers is going to be our answer to a better season.
Yeah.
just like she was saying, turnovers, I think that's a huge thing. No interceptions for him. And their offense just looked so much more efficient. I mean, 562 total yards, 11 third downs, 2 of 2 on fourth downs, 88 total plays. They just controlled time of possession, too. Their offense just looks super efficient. And you can't forget the run game that they had, too.
Yeah, I mean, we've hinted towards our offense and how good they're looking and looked in the Louisiana Tech game. But one thing I want to talk about is our defense. Even though, yes, we're happy, we're excited, we got the win over Louisiana Tech, our defense in these last 3 games has continued to struggle in the second half, especially in the Cal game where they gave up, I believe it was 33 points in the second half alone. Do we need to worry about our offense, or should we sort of focus in on our defense as we get into conference play?
I really don't think our offense is the issue here. We should be good, especially with guys like Burns and Io stepping up to the plate. Hopefully with Chandler Rogers starting to bring that extra confidence in. But yeah, they both had a great game. Even though Burns didn't have any touchdowns, he still averaged 12.2 yards and had 11 receptions. Same with Io. 19 of his 29 carries came from Saturday's game. So I really don't think our offense is the issue. I think we know where the issue lies here.
The defense really, except if you take out the fourth quarter, they only allowed 14 points. That's good. They shut them out in the third quarter. That's really good, except they let 23 points in the fourth quarter. That's no good. It's just about finishing. That's all they got to do. They just got to finish the ball game. I mean, we should win by more than 3 points when we put up 40. We can't depend on the offense every time to put up 40 or more points.
You know, defense wins championships. Obviously, we see that through sports history. But, guys, Eric Morris did get his first win of the season. Do we think that's going to be a sign of encouragement and we see a lot more wins? How do we think they're going to place? Gabby, I'll start with you.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like that's a clear sign of encouragement. I mean, having that first win with that new coach hopefully is the start to UNT having a better season and being a different football team than they were last season. So I can't wait to see what happens when he gets to know the players better and be able to sort of figure out the strengths and weaknesses, hopefully how he has with starting Chandler Rogers.
I also think it's pretty encouraging just to get that first win in the books. You know, new team finally got it. And like I said, the offense did look super efficient as long as they don't turn the ball over. The defense just needs to improve, but they are going to change the defensive schemes going from 3-3-5 to a 4-man front. So that's all you really have to worry about there.
Yeah, that front 7 is definitely going to be important for the Mean Green. Guys, I want to know your takes on who y'all thought the player of the game was for UNT. Gabby, I want to start with you.
This is tough. I mean, Chandler Rogers, again, I'm going to keep riding this Chandler Rogers train here because this is
QB1.
important, yes. But at the same time, the special teams, the kicker, he's who really saved the game. I mean, everyone did an amazing job, but the kicker, Noah, I think him and Chandler Rogers, I think are tied for the start of the game.
For me, it's going to be Io Adeyi, the running back. I mean, without a running game, you have no passing game because then defenses are just going to drop back on that, you know? So having a good running game opens up the passing game. This dude ran for 148 yards and still had 2 touchdowns. That's a lot of fantasy points right there. I'm drafting him first round. So that's what I want, and that's definitely my player of the game right there.
Speaking of fantasy teams, as we go into this next segment, UNT wasn't the only team that made a lot of North Texans happy. Stay with us as we recap the Dallas Cowboys game.
Hey man, are you okay in there? You look terrible. Have you been up all night? Don't you know that according to the American Academy of Sleep Medicine, staying up all night can have a negative effect on your GPA?
Sleep?
Yeah, go to bed.
Live from UNT, it's Wheel of Culture!
Welcome back to Wheel of Culture. Our contestant is so close to solving this puzzle. But first, it's time to give the wheel a spin. Wow, you landed on London, one of the many places where you and your fellow students can go on a chance to experience new culture. But only if you can solve this puzzle.
I'd like to solve the puzzle. Study abroad.
That's correct. You just won yourself a trip to study abroad in London, England, and you can too. Just go to studyabroad.unt.edu to see deadlines and apply for scholarships. Get ready to study abroad.
Oh, hey, didn't see you there. Let's get started. This is a motor vehicle. This is the blinker mechanism. To use it, push it up for the right blinker and down to go left. You're welcome. It was easy.
Welcome back to SportsZone. I'm here with Simeon Formalt and Parker Smith as we talk about the Dallas Cowboys, who are having a great start to their season. Guys, the Jets lost to the Cowboys 30-10. I want to start talking about this offense. I know we have a lot to cover on the defensive side, but who's y'all's player of the game for the offensive side?
For the offensive side, as much as me not being a Cowboys fan hates to admit it, was Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott played amazing. I mean, he was 31 for 38, just shy of 250 yards, and had a 112 passer rating. This new offensive scheme brought by Mike McCarthy is amazing for him. That short to medium passing, it worked magic against that Jets defense. That is, I mean, pretty good. You got Sauce Gardner at corner, one of the best corners in the league, and he still put 250 yards. So I would give it to Dak offensively.
Yeah, Dak played an incredible game, and this is a guy that his main knock all of last year was the interceptions, the turnovers. And right now he leads the league in QBR. He has no turnovers. He completed 81% of his passes yesterday. He played pretty much a flawless game. But I'm also going to give a shout out to CeeDee Lamb, 11 receptions, 143 yards, had over 100 yards in the first half, got things going early in the game. And it was just really good to scheme him away from Sauce Gardner. I'm not really sure why the Jets didn't allow Sauce to travel with CeeDee Lamb throughout the field, but they took full advantage of that scheme, and CeeDee Lamb was open all night long. He was balling.
Yeah, this offense, obviously, you've got Dak, you've got CeeDee Lamb, but this Dallas Cowboy team hit their receiver or their tight ends 3 times. How important is the depth of the Cowboys as the season progresses? Parker, I'll start with you.
Yeah, with Dalton Schultz going to Houston, they're going to need a lot of production from guys like Jake Ferguson, and for them to get him involved early in the red zone. I mean, it's always nice for a quarterback to have a good tight end to target in the red zone. That's one of your biggest receivers on the field, or should be your biggest every single time. So to have him as an option down there in the red zone, that's really going to help Dak as the season progresses.
Yeah.
Oh,
Go ahead, Parker, sorry.
No. Yeah, the tight end, it was been a staple for the Cowboys for the longest time. I mean, you had Witten, then you had Schultz, and I mean, it's just red zone, big target. I mean, it's basically just, if you have a good tight end, guaranteed touchdown.